Help me hit 2,000 subscribers. That's what my little brother, Evan, whispered as he shoved his phone toward me, grinning the crooked, earnest grin he always wore when he was proud of something. It should have been a sweet moment. But instead, the words hit the air just seconds after my fiancée, Claire, hissed the sentence that split my world clean in half. Your autistic brother can't be at the wedding, Mark. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. Her voice was soft, almost apologetic, but steel hit underneath, like a blade wrapped in silk. She said it casually, as though it were a minor logistic detail, like deciding between centerpieces or picking the color of napkins. Evan didn't understand. He kept standing there by the kitchen table, holding up his phone, proud of the goofy little cooking channel we'd started for him. He waited for me to repeat the line like I always did because it made him laugh. But I couldn't speak. My throat burned. My hands shook. Something primal and protective surged in me, sharp enough to steal my breath. I watched Claire force a smile at Evan. A brittle one. The kind that cracks before it even forms. Hey champ, she said. Mark and I just need to talk about something grown up. Okay. She didn't wait for his answer before tugging me into the living room by the wrist. The moment we were out of his earshot, her face changed, smooth, composed, self-assured. Your brother, he struggles with noise and crowds, she said. And a wedding is both. I'm just being realistic. He's been excited for months, I whispered, still stunned. He picked out a suit. A flicker of annoyance crossed her face. This day is supposed to be perfect, Mark. I don't want any disruptions. The word disruptions felt like a slap. I stared at her, searching for some misunderstanding, some miscommunication, something that made this make sense. But Claire's eyes held nothing but resolve. A quiet unease shifted in my stomach. A feeling I'd ignored for months. A feeling I'd chosen not to name. Not yet. I woke up before dawn the next morning. Claire was still asleep beside me, her arm draped over my waist as though nothing was wrong. As though she hadn't tried to cut out the most important person in my life. I stared at the ceiling, my mind circling the same thoughts over and over. Her tone, her dismissal, the way she looked at Evan. The way she didn't even ask me how I felt. By sunrise, a knot had formed in my chest. Heavy, undeniable. I needed clarity. Not anger, not a fight, not assumptions. Truth. That required honesty, from both of us. And I had a sinking suspicion that honesty had been missing for a long time. When Claire finally woke, stretching with a sleepy smile, I said it quietly. Let's talk today. Seriously. Her eyes flickered, briefly tightening before the smile snapped back on. Of course. But something in her expression told me she already knew the conversation she didn't want to have was coming. Throughout the morning, memories pried themselves open in my mind. Times she'd insisted we leave Evan behind for dinners. Her irritation when he called too often. The way she rolled her eyes in secret when he misunderstood sarcasm. But there were other things too, more recent, more alarming. Late-night messages she hid when I walked into the room. Sudden work events she never invited me to. A strange shift in how her friends behaved around her when I joined them, as though they were collectively guarding a secret. Cracks. Hairline fractures. And now, with my vision no longer blurred by love or denial, those cracks widened into fault lines. By noon I was pacing. By 2 I'd made up my mind. Tonight she would choose once and for all between honesty or the future she thought we still had. I waited until after dinner, when the apartment was quiet and the tension had grown thick enough to taste. Sit, I said. Claire froze mid-step, plate still in her hands. Something in my voice must have struck a chord because the mask she wore slipped. Just a little. She sat. I placed my phone on the table between us, screen down. Her eyes flicked to it. Why do you look like that? She whispered. Because I need the truth. I watched her swallow. Several seconds stretched in silence. What truth? She asked finally. And there it was, the question guilty people use when they're desperate to figure out how much you already know. My chest tightened. Start with why you don't want my brother at the wedding, I said. She exhaled, relieved, incorrectly. Mark, he's sweet. Really. But weddings are stressful. He could panic. Or draw attention. I just want one day where everything goes smoothly. My jaw tensed. You mean one day where you don't have to be embarrassed? Her face went white. That's not. And then we'll talk, I continued softly. About why you've been lying to me. Her breath caught. What are you talking about? I flipped the phone over and pressed play. A recording. From last night. Voices, hers and another man's. Muffled but unmistakable. Her telling him she couldn't talk long. Him calling her baby. Her whispering she missed him. A tiny gasp escaped her lips. She looked at me like I had punched the air out of her. You recorded. I wanted to give you a chance, I said quietly. A chance to tell me first. Tears filled her eyes instantly. Not grief. Fear. Mark, it's not what it sounds like. Don't, I said. Not tonight. Her shoulders trembled. Do you love him? I asked. The question cracked something in her. She hesitated just a beat too long. And that hesitation was my answer. Mark, please, she whispered, reaching for my hand. I love you. I made a mistake. A stupid mistake. I was overwhelmed. The wedding. The pressure. I panicked. You panicked into someone else's bed? She flinched like she'd been struck. The apartment fell silent. I took a breath, steady but shaking. Here's the choice, I said. Evan stays in my life. Always. Non-negotiable. And honesty is non-negotiable too. Her eyes widened, hopeful for a moment. But you, I continued, are negotiable. That hope shattered. Mark. You will call him, I said, nodding toward her phone. And tell him it's over. And then, if you want to salvage anything, you apologize to my brother. To his face. And admit you were wrong. Her lower lip trembled. She stared at her hands. When she finally looked up, her eyes were red, empty, and defeated. I can't, she whispered. Those two words were softer than a breath. But they were the loudest sound I'd ever heard. I stood. She broke. And the future she thought she still had broke with her. I gathered her things quietly. Put her bags by the door. Called her a cab. She cried without fighting. And as she left, she paused in the doorway. I didn't think you'd choose him over me, she whispered. I stared at her, feeling the last piece of my heart fall into place. I didn't choose him over you, I said gently. You did. When you chose someone else over both of us. She lowered her head and stepped into the hall. The door clicked shut,